Here's the deal. The most intense, raw, and brilliantly brutal action movie of the 21st century didn't come from Hollywood, and it's not in English. It's called The Raid. If you've seen it, you already know. If you haven't, prepare to rethink everything you expect from an action movie. There are no A-list actors, no flashy CGI, just pure, unrelenting chaos, crafted with precision and grit. From the first scene to the last, it's all gas, no brakes. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why The Raid might just be the greatest action movie ever made. Period. One of the first things you notice about The Raid is how fast it throws you into the fire. Like, there's no build-up, no dramatic exposition, no over-explaining. Within the first few minutes, you're in the truck with a counter-terrorism team rolling into one of the most dangerous buildings in Jakarta, and you're thinking, wait, we're doing this now? The setup is beautifully simple. There's a rundown apartment block controlled by a drug lord named Tama. Every floor is crawling with criminals, and the goal is to fight their way to the top and take him down. That's it. No side quests, no long-winded backstories. It's like video game logic in the best way possible. Think Die Hard meets Dread, but on steroids. And because the plot is so stripped down, every moment is tense. You're not waiting for something to happen. It's already happening. Every hallway, every door, every shadow feels like it could explode at any second. The building itself becomes a character. You feel claustrophobic, boxed in, like there's no way out. And that's the genius of it. This simplicity actually works in its favor. It forces you to focus on what really matters: survival. The characters don't have time to talk about their feelings. They're too busy trying not to die. But even then, the film still sneaks in emotional punches. Like that moment with Rama and his brother. No spoilers, but when it hits hard. Most action movies pad themselves out with filler. The Raid throws all that out the window, literally, in some scenes. And what you're left with is something incredibly raw and focused. It's a masterclass in how to use a tight narrative to amplify intensity. All right, this is where The Raid goes from good action movie to holy did that just happen? The fight choreography in this film isn't just impressive. It's revolutionary. And the reason? It's brutally real. Like, you can practically feel the punches land through your screen. The style you're seeing is called silat, specifically pencak silat, which is an Indonesian martial art that's fast, efficient, and insanely aggressive. Iko Uwais, the film's star, is a trained silat fighter, and you can tell. Every move is precise, calculated, and totally unforgiving. There's no flashy, spinning around for style nonsense. It's all about ending the fight quickly, and if that means smashing someone's face into a wall or taking a machete to the ribs, so be it. And it's not just the martial art, it's how the fights are shot. Director Gareth Evans does something a lot of action directors don't. He pulls the camera back. He lets you actually see the choreography. No shaky cam, no quick-cut editing to hide bad stunts. Just clean, wide takes and tight, intimate angles when they count. You're not just watching a fight, you feel like you're in it. And these fights are long. Not drawn-out, boring long, but exhausting, adrenaline-soaked, long. You'll watch a 3-minute hallway brawl, and by the end of it, your heart's pounding like you were in it yourself. And just when you think it can't escalate anymore, boom, it does. The 2-on-1 fight with Mad Dog near the end, legendary. It's not just choreography, it's storytelling through violence. Another thing worth pointing out, the hits have weight. When someone gets thrown into a wall, they don't bounce off like in a Marvel movie. They slump. When someone gets stabbed, it's messy, awkward, and desperate. The sound design helps too. Every impact sounds thick and crunchy, like bone meeting concrete. It's almost uncomfortable to watch, but in the best way. The Raid doesn't choreograph fights just to look cool. They serve the story, they serve the characters, and most importantly, they serve the stakes. Every fight feels like life or death. Because in this movie, it usually is. Let's talk about Iko Uwais, because this guy came out of nowhere and straight up kicked the doors off action cinema. Before The Raid, he wasn't some established movie star. He wasn't even an actor, really. He was a delivery guy who trained in silat. Gareth Evans discovered him while filming a documentary on martial arts. And thank God he did. Iko doesn't just perform the action, he lives it. There's a physical confidence in the way he moves that can't be faked. But what makes him so captivating isn't just the insane fight skills. It's that he brings this quiet intensity to every scene. He doesn't have pages of dialogue, but you still get everything you need to know about Rama, his sense of duty, his fear, his inner conflict, just through body language and expression. He plays Rama as someone constantly on the edge. He's not a superhero. He gets tired, he bleeds, he panics. But he also digs deep and keeps going. And that kind of vulnerability is rare in action heroes. It makes every punch feel earned. When he's overwhelmed and still pushes forward, you feel it in your gut. And then there's the choreography, most of which he helped design with Gareth Evans and Yayan Ruhian, who also plays Mad Dog. That means Iko isn't just performing someone else's vision. He's shaping the action itself. He knows how the camera moves, where the impact needs to land, and how to sell every moment. That collaborative process is part of why the fights in the raid feel so fluid and brutal. It's not just a performance, it's a physical language, and Iko is fluent in it. Also, let's be honest, his on-screen presence is magnetic. He's not cocky, he's not over the top. He just shows up, handles business, and somehow makes surviving a knife fight in a bathroom look like a ballet made of broken glass. The raid made Iko Uwais an international name, and for good reason. He brought something fresh to the genre, something grounded, something real. He reminded us that an action star doesn't need to be a muscle-bound giant. Sometimes they just need to look like they can and will wreck your whole squad. Let's give some serious credit where it's due. Gareth Evans didn't just direct the raid, he engineered it. Like a combat tactician, he mapped every frame, every corridor, every scream with precision. And honestly, he changed the way we look at action movies. Evans doesn't treat action as filler between dialogue scenes. For him, the action is the dialogue. It tells the story. You can watch the raid on mute and still feel everything because the direction is that visual, that intentional. What really sets him apart is how he uses space. The building in the raid is more than just a location. It's a maze, a war zone, a pressure cooker. Evans uses narrow hallways, stairwells, and grimy apartments like instruments in an orchestra of chaos. Every fight is tailored to the environment, and every camera move feels purposeful. You're never lost. You always know where people are, who's chasing who, and what the danger is. And then there's the editing. The raid has this rhythmic intensity. It's fast, but not frantic. It builds tension and releases it like a perfect song drop. It knows when to speed up and when to hold on a beat. That's Evans knowing exactly how to pace adrenaline. You'll also notice something rare. The violence feels earned. Evans doesn't glamorize it. There are no slow-motion gun-firing ego moments. No cool guys walking away from explosions. It's not clean. It's not stylized. It's survival. And that brutal authenticity is exactly why it hits so hard. Even the quieter moments, yes, there are a few, are sharp. The camera lingers just long enough for us to feel dread. He uses silence like a weapon. And when things explode back into chaos, you feel it in your bones. Let's be real. Most action directors would have tried to make this movie slicker, more Hollywood, more marketable. Evans doubled down on grit. He leaned into the discomfort, the blood, the claustrophobia, and it paid off. The raid doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like an experience you survive. And after watching it, you can't help but think, why can't more action movies be like this? Here's something wild. The raid was made for about $1 million. That's pocket change by Hollywood standards. But honestly, that tiny budget is part of why the movie works so damn well. There's no glossy polish, no slick, overlit sets, no CGI safety net. It feels dirty, dark, sweaty, and that's exactly the point. This movie doesn't want to look pretty. It wants to feel real. You can practically smell the mildew in the building's concrete hallways. The lighting is grim and moody. The camera shakes not because someone thought it looked cool, but because it's following two guys tumbling down a stairwell mid-fight. You're in there with them. A lot of action movies try so hard to look clean that they lose all sense of danger. Every punch looks choreographed, every actor looks freshly powdered, and the camera cuts every half second to mask what's really happening. The raid does the opposite. It leans into the chaos, the grime, the claustrophobia. It's not trying to impress you, it's trying to break you. And it's not just visual. The sound design feels like it was recorded in a boiler room. Every bone crack, every thud, every scream is raw. There's no slick Hollywood score over every fight either. Sometimes it's just silence, and that makes the violence hit way harder. Then there's the casting. Most of these actors aren't stars. They're stunt performers, fighters, or unknowns. And that's beautiful, because no one feels untouchable. When you see Rama facing a hallway full of machete-wielding maniacs, you genuinely don't know if he's going to make it. There's actual tension, because there's no plot armor, no hero moment guarantees. The production design also deserves credit. The apartment complex isn't just a setting, it's a war zone. You feel like if you lived there, you'd never sleep again. Bullet holes in walls, blood stains on tile, broken furniture. Everything screams desperation. It looks like a place where violence isn't just common, it's expected. The Raid reminds us that sometimes less really is more. When you strip away the gloss and bloat, what's left is the raw stuff: grit, sweat, tension, and truth. And that's what makes it unforgettable. So here's the real question. Why are we still talking about The Raid more than a decade later? Because it set the bar, and nobody's really cleared it since. After The Raid dropped, suddenly everyone was chasing that same energy. You saw Hollywood films trying to imitate the gritty, grounded choreography. John Wick owes a huge debt to it. So do shows like Daredevil and even parts of the Mission Impossible franchise. But even with bigger budgets and bigger stars, few have matched The Raid's intensity. Why? Because The Raid isn't just about fight scenes. It's about how those fights are embedded in tension, in desperation, in survival. It's the perfect storm of raw filmmaking, fearless physicality, and tight storytelling. It also opened the door for more Southeast Asian cinema to reach international audiences. It proved you don't need a massive budget or big-name actors to make a global impact. You just need craft, vision, and guts. Every time a new action film drops, there's always a comment thread somewhere saying, "It's good, but it's no Raid." And they're right. The Raid didn't just hit. It landed like a punch to the throat and left a scar. All right, let's wrap this up. The Raid isn't just a great action movie, it's a straight-up masterclass. It's raw, it's real, and more than a decade later, it still hasn't been topped. If you've seen it, you already know. And if you haven't, you seriously need to fix that. But now, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite scene from The Raid? Or do you think any action movie has managed to beat it since? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And hey, if you made it this far, you must have enjoyed the breakdown. So do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more pop culture deep dives.